Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another VTuber reaction. Today we're going to be listening to Chloe's P.E.T. I haven't heard anything from Chloe yet other than her work in the Hoshimatic project of last video, and I had a commenter on this one say that I really should listen to this, and a lot of people who agreed. So as per the rules in this land, that's what I'll do next, and I'm kind of excited, to be honest. I did like how Chloe sounded in all that grouping, especially in her solo parts, so I'm really interested to hear a song that's entirely her own. So without further ado, let's go! Right in there, right out the gate with that hot beat. Claps are a fairly unique choice, not used as often as they honestly should be. I like where this is going. Oh, that was different than I thought it was. Okay. That drop did not go where I thought it was going to. Not mad. Oh, God. Speaking of which. All right. Got some club rave vibes. I love how bubbly that clap is. I'm so used to them way more processed. Hearing more organic one is really cool. Fits right in there. Wonder if it's gonna be different this time around for the chorus. You never know, you know? About the same. Okay. Wonder if they're gonna change up that second section again, though. It's a fun chorus. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was different, but I'm definitely not mad that it's the same, you know? Also, I'm really glad I don't have epilepsy. I heard that laugh, it was like back here. Whew. Great mix on that. Yeah. That was really fun. I get it. I really do. So I didn't mention this in the intro, but I am very aware that Chloe is kind of reaching the end of her time at Hololive, and I think that it's kind of neat that I'm getting introduced to somebody who is that close, as weird as that sounds, because I get to hear what may be the best and potentially worst of their entire career, because I'm here at the end of it, so I'm able to experience all of the highs and lows going forward. I don't know what those may be. I assume this one's a high, given how many people wanted me to hear it, but I don't know. There could be other ones in there that haven't been requested that are even better than this one, and this one was really good. I also love that it was a collaboration with Deco27. I didn't even notice that in the title at all until I saw it in the video, and I'm like, oh, now it makes sense why the sound's the way it is. Deco's always had that feel. I'm very aware of their work. I've heard a number of songs that they've produced over the years. I've been a fan of Vocaloid since the early 2010s, you know, like I've been there since almost the beginning beginning of that craze, and I've heard a lot of Deco's work as well as other producers in the same vein. So when I see names I know working with people I'm freshly introduced to, that adds kind of an extra energy for me. Like, I like to see that because it allows me to tie those two worlds of mine together, something that I've known and been experimenting with and loving since I was an early teenager, versus now where I am almost 30 and kind of just blending these two parts of my lives into one. And it's just kind of a neat experience. I don't know how really else to explain it, but it's just cool seeing those two worlds combined. As far as the production stuff on this song goes, this was really cool. Again, really want to talk about that clap sample being used in there. When I used the term bubbly during the reaction, that was a very careful term I picked before saying it because I wanted to make sure I described it the best I could, and that's exactly what it was. It was kind of this like clasped hand clap. It had a lot more air in it, which is a cool texture to have, especially in the world of EDM, utilizing almost exclusively very overproduced, multi-layered clap samples that largely are very dry and they don't really have much else going on. It's just kind of a clap and there's no other sound in there. So hearing something that's a lot more free and has a lot more body to it is a really cool sound, and having that in a mix of a song like this where it was being paired up with those snaps as well, which is definitely a more traditional snap sample. It was more dry, it was more processed, you could tell that it was layered, you know, and had a lot of reverb on it. There was just overall a much more stereotypical snap sound, but that clap wasn't. I haven't heard a bubbly clap like that, something with a lot of air and a lot of pocket, in a while. It just goes to show how good the producer is at understanding when and where to use those unique tones, because that would not have worked as well if it was a more stereotypical clap, but also that same clap would not have worked even elsewhere in the song. That more like rave dance sound that was coming in at the second part of the chorus, which I think was a really cool musical interlude as well. The chorus was fun when that came in as well, and it was just like a little bit more subtle than I honestly expected it to be. I thought they were going to ramp it up into something more, have a lot more going on just in the audio space. Like, I was expecting them to ramp it more up into like a giant club dancey sort of sound, and then when they didn't do that and they pulled it back instead, that actually surprised me a lot. I'm sure you saw that in the reaction. I was really thrown off by where they went because I'm so conditioned to expecting the opposite. So when you subvert those expectations, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and a lot of times it can result in a cool, unique feel that makes you kind of rethink what you're listening to and recontextualize the entire song, all of the production, and where it may go in the future. And then when it moved into that spot that I had mentioned, that musical like dance interlude, I was like, oh, here's where I kind of expected it to go. I was expecting more of like a stadium EDM sound, something you would hear at like the Electric Light Festival or something like that. So it's definitely a unique sound here, and the producer here obviously has a huge backlog of work, a giant discography of way different sounds, plenty of different experimental approaches, and just different tones altogether, especially since this was produced last year and probably therefore a couple months prior to like their big releases that were being used in like TikTok memes and everything. That's kind of where most people know Deco 27, but I've been listening to Deco since they were working on like Miku songs way back in the day. But all that is just to say that it's cool that somebody is still there, still experimenting, still playing around, and having fun with their production instead of just playing it safe and making the exact same type of song they always do. Like, for example, Psycho by Heiko's Bales, like that song was produced by Tom Hack, who utilized their exact safe sound. There was definitely some fun they had with it, but overall you could tell that that was producer. I picked up that that was that producer while listening to it. I just had the wrong group affiliated with who produced it. It was just Tom solo. So I was like, okay, that's cool, but you can tell it's them. For Deco, you can't. And I think that's really cool too. The fact that they're so versatile, the fact that they experiment so often that you're like, hey, wait a minute, maybe, and you just can't quite pick what song is theirs, except for maybe a couple in there, especially in the earlier years. But these days, never. But enough talking about how cool Deco is, because at the same time, this vocal work from Chloe is insanely flexible. Like, she had a different voice. She had two different sounds in here. And I do believe that that's part of the story that was being told here. That would totally make sense, kind of having the Jekyll and Hyde thing going on, I believe. But like, still being able to pull off that sound, having two different, completely unique vocal tones. Like, I could have been fooled if I didn't know better and been told that this was a duet, and I would not have second guessed it. That's some insane work too. The flexibility in the voice is insane. The range of tone and just availability in the vocal cords is really impressive here, because she didn't necessarily sing out of her range for the other character voice. She just kind of sang in a slightly different way, just changed her approach to the vocals, and kind of in a similar way to voice acting, just messed around with her native voice a little bit, made it sound just like a different person, just enough that you can completely identify them individually in the song without actually needing to see who's singing. Especially coming from somebody who has done voice work in the past and has had to do similar things with their voice and change things slightly in order to make different characters work if I'm playing more than one thing in the same project, which has happened. But at the same time, I don't think I could sing like that. Like, having two completely unique, identifiable individual voices in one song. That is really cool to me. So big shout out to Chloe there. And albeit maybe this is the end of her career in Hololive, it's still really cool to have something like this to look back on and use on a resume in the future for something, or another group maybe. I don't know what her future plans are, but if you have this under your belt, something this cool, just this one, somebody would be dying to work with you. So hats off to Chloe on that end, and I'm sure this is not going to be the last time I'm going to hear Chloe's work. So if you have any other songs from Chloe or anyone else in the Hololive family or overall VTuber family that you want me to listen to and I haven't gotten to yet, maybe drop it down in the comments below and I will do my best to get to it, as I always do. And of course, if you like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more in the future, you know how to do all of that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!